Hi everyone, delonewolf here and welcome back to the Sunday recap, my weekly vlog where I talk a bit about my last week in games. And as always, we'll start with EVE Online and how things looked. I decided to do a little bit of mining last week, so I went back to Yona, grabbed my Orca and did a bit of mining in the belts there, focusing as much as I could on Tritanium, which was doing the best, I should say, and then Exile on second, and then a little bit of Pyrite as a side product from time to time. It is just the closest asteroid, so we grabbed that as well. But yeah, turns out I chose the wrong week to get back into a little bit of mining because everything is taking a bit of a beating when it comes to high-sec minerals in price, and so I'm basically stockpiling the stuff and I'm not selling right away. But definitely a few relaxing mining sessions were done, so that's all pretty good. But of course at the moment I am spending most of my time in the trade hubs. If you follow EVE Talk, you know that we are still selling heavily when it comes to PI. Very good times there, awesome 1-year high prices, so it's definitely worth it to empty out your planets quite often, bring your stuff to a trade hub and try to sell at the best possible prices. And then a big shift this week I think as well in Tech 2 ships, because a couple of them had some really major volatility, a couple of sell opportunities, couple of buy opportunities, and if this keeps up and from the perspective of the advanced moon minerals, I think eventually the lack of supply on the very base materials will start to roll through not just the entire advanced moon mining section, but then eventually also the Tech 2 ships. It is looking, from my perspective, pretty promising to do a little bit of trading in Tech 2 ships. So I'm pretty happy with that. I'm well positioned. I think I've got quite a few Tech 2 ships ready that I bought not necessarily at the lowest possible prices, but definitely well below average, below the current prices already, and so we're just looking for the right time to sell at some nice profit margins. In fact, some command ships are already at the moment looking like you could get 100 million profit on a single ship trade, so it's pretty good, and that's definitely going to be a focus for me at the moment as well. When it comes to the development of EVE Online, we don't have more news on the allegiance system, but that is also something that I am of course looking forward to. How will it work? What can we do where? I'm hoping for some not necessarily PvP activities, could be in high sec, could be in low sec. We will see how all of that develops, but CCP did mention that it is planned for the first quarter, so that could be up to March, which is of course still quite a ways away. But we did get a first patch, the new Rifter is in, and we have a login event now for the Lunar New Year. Couple of really cool skins in there as well already, so it's looking alright. I can definitely keep playing a little bit of EVE Online every day, but now we're probably gonna focus again on the trade hubs and with a little bit of trading. Another thing, of course, that's done in the trade hubs is to gather the points for the Alliance logo. So I'm just doing the daily mission that you can receive there, grab a ship, give it to the corporation and then receive your points. I'm not buying anything at the moment because if I'm not mistaken, CCP is planning to do another batch of ships. I've got most of those that I want, and on top of that there's going to be like a system where the points that you get also correspond to points for a corporation or something like that, and that could eventually turn into alliance skins, corporation skins, and also structure skins. So I'm definitely planning to just keep up with that daily grind. It really doesn't take a lot of time if you end your previous session in a trade hub, and I think I'm at like 30,000 points or something like that, but I'm hoarding at the moment those points just to be future proof to see what comes later down the line from CCP. So yeah, pretty good week for me, I would say, in EVE Online. Definitely enjoying the relaxed playstyle, and I am looking forward to everything else, not just what's coming in Q1, but then of course another expansion should hit, 20 years of EVE Online, another FanFest, and then yet another expansion. So it does look like a promising year for 2023 for EVE Online. That did give me a little bit of extra time to play another game, and so I went back for some more Path of Exile with another crazy idea, you could say, although I don't think this one was a crazy idea because it actually is a little bit more balanced than just another glass cannon. But I decided to spend 30 chaos on the gem for the skeleton mages. because I'd seen some videos on that, and especially with greater multiple projectiles, they can just completely obliterate whole screens with a mass projectile volley. So it's pretty cool. I'm starting this character. I think I'm up to like Act 7 or something like that. And being a necromancer, that was my choice. You do get some innate defenses from your ascendancy. So at first you can get a lot of extra resistances just from getting an aura, and then after that you can also get like the bone armor, basically makes you immune to bleed and corrupted blood. So it has those built-in defenses, which means that you can focus your gear on giving all the buffs to your minions. And then next to those skeletal mages, I'm going for just other ranged minions that also use the multiple projectiles, greater multiple projectiles, in order to just blab the screen full of deadly stuff. And the playstyle is basically a little bit like a totem playstyle, where I just plonk down my skeletal mages, and then when it's a boss fight, I just have to wait for it to eventually succumb to all of that elemental damage. And I just run around trying to avoid the damage as much as possible. With also 2 golems, so the flame golem also has projectile spell, and the lightning golem as well. And then, of course, the specters, we still have to find out which specter is the best for all of this. But you get a lot of options, and it's very cool to experiment with them. So if they, for instance, use rolling magma, that's really cool, because they can sometimes really delete an entire screen just in a couple of spells as well. There's some cool lightning spells, there's fireballs, there's lots of options. So it's an interesting playstyle, and at the moment, although it is still early, this is basically for me, unless GGG comes out with some really cool different stuff for the next league, this is, I think, what I'm gonna try to start out with to make my first goal for my first character in the next league, because I can already see a path where I start out with another spell that's also lightning minions that get some, can't really remember, I think it's Absolution or something like that, and then eventually when you get enough chaos for the gem, you can transition into the skeletal mage build. So that's sort of something that I'm already planning and looking forward to. I thought it was February, but it's actually March when we should get the next league for Path of Exile, so we still have a little bit of time to experiment and do other stuff in the Sanctum League, which is pretty cool overall. And yeah, I'm just from time to time switching at the moment between Total War Warhammer 3 and then Path of Exile. When I got another idea, I quickly put it into the Path of Building, and it's like, alright, that looks like it could be doable, let's get started. Couple of evenings, see what the character feels like, and this one from my perspective has been a lot of fun. So yeah, that's basically my last week in games, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, I'll see you next time.